Anybody can get sober for a week. The real question is, how do you build a life so strong that it lasts for decades? Most people don't fail because they don't want it. They fail because they never build habits, the mindset, or the spiritual roots to stay free when life gets hard. Today, we sit with someone who has done exactly that. Damian Trujillo has over 16 years of continuous sobriety. He's been involved in treatment centers and mentoring programs. He lives as a sober companion and is living proof that lasting freedom is possible. If you're ready to move beyond surviving to build a life that lasts, this conversation is for you. Welcome back to the Clean Life Cast, where healing becomes a movement. I'm your host, Mason Anderson. I'm here with my co-host, Daniel Tapusoa. Today, we're honored to welcome Damian. He's one of my mentors, an entrepreneur, and a leader in the recovery community for over 16 years of continuous sobriety. Damian has helped countless people build strong foundations up for their own healing and freedom. This episode is about building a life that lasts, the daily habits, the mindsets, relationships, and spiritual roots that turn early recovery into lifelong growth and purpose. So we're super grateful to have you here, brother.
I'm grateful to be here.
Yeah, it's exciting. Mason talks about you a lot, so I was excited when you said you were coming on. Definitely somebody to look forward to having this conversation with, for sure.
Yeah. And I'm honored to be here. I've listened to you guys' podcasts up to the
That's
ones
cool.
that have been released, and I really like what you guys are doing. It's different, and I like the dialogue. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm really grateful that, like I was telling him before you got here, like it's just like if I could pick two dudes to be in the room with, it's like two. Like it makes me feel like I'm elevating just by being around you guys. Every time I have a conversation with you or Daniel, it's like I always get so many like so much gold out of the conversation that it's like this is just my happy
Yeah.
place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just grateful for that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Some that like I think that would be heavy or like impactful to talk about is like I want to like kind of bridge the gap because I know that you do your sober companion and that's something that you put a lot of heart and soul into is like mentoring other people. And I know that like throughout the years you've done multiple you've AA sponsored, you mentor people on the regular, you're just somebody that people come to for advice and insights. And so like I want to talk about like what that looked like in the beginning of your recovery and how that's transformed over the years.
So when I first got sober, I didn't feel like I came into recovery or into life with a whole lot of assets. So
How long ago was that?
that was in 2008. It'll be 17 years, November 1st.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, actually, I guess so. I came into treatment in it was December of 2008. So I had a couple months sober when I got into treatment,
Yeah.
and then I got out of treatment in like March of 2009. And that's kind of what I'm talking about is when I got out of treatment. Like I came
Yeah.
into the world without a whole lot of assets. I didn't know who I wanted to be. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had a past that I couldn't bring into this new life. And one of the things that I liked about like when I was in rehab was the alumni that would come and show
Yeah.
up. And I went to a place called the Haven and saw.
Shout out to the Haven.
Yeah, shout out to the Haven. Haven saved my life. I got super fortunate to go there, right?
Yeah.
Like I didn't have insurance, I didn't have money. State of Utah did something where they paid for people to go to treatment that were indigent, and because of that, I got a spot. If I wouldn't have had that opportunity, if I'd be here, because I was looking at just doing a bunch of time in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've met people that was using now that are using treatment as a way to stay out of prison but don't really put in the work, which was different for you, right?
Yeah, it was different for me, and it was different back then too. Like the system wasn't allowing a lot of people to go to treatment.
Yeah, it is now though.
Yeah, it is now. Yeah, they're doing the treatment before incarceration thing, and I just got lucky. Like I call it, then I would have called it luck. Now I think it was like divinely inspired. I had a PO that showed up in my life at that time that before that any other PO would have locked me up, and he told me I asked him later. I said, "How come you gave me the opportunity?" He goes, "I saw something in your eye. You looked lost and looked like you needed something."
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So you didn't really find your direction until you got done. You said not until March you started focusing on your direction.
And I don't even know if that's when I started focusing on my direction. I was still pretty lost at that time. You know, like I remember going to the grocery store and I had some food stamps. I was living in the sober living. I was so like the world was foreign to me.
Yeah.
So even like going to the grocery store with my food stamp card was weird. And so I started getting locked up when I was like 13 years old and was in and out of the system all the way up until I got sober. And so I just like bought stuff that I used to buy at commissary, you know, because I didn't know how to live. And the world baffled me, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's different when you see it through sober eyes, and then you have to be somewhat independent and like cook for yourself is weird. like, what do I really like to eat? What do I know how to cook and all those things? So you started doing that. What did you, like, how did you end up finding your way to be where you're at right now? Like,
so I think what ignited the spark was while I was in treatment. I said those the alumni and the mentors and the staff, all the staff were in recovery and were alumni of the Haven when I went through the Haven. It's not like that anymore, but it was like that then. And I think that they ignited that spark in me where I was like, man, I really want to come back here and do something like this.
Yeah.
And I did. I mean, the climb, it was a long climb for me to get there, but eventually I got there. And at some point I set my mind on that. That's what I'm going to do.
In recovery?
Work in recovery, and not just recovery, go back to that place and work in that place.
That was like what, 2009?
2009 when I got it out of the Haven. Yeah.
And then you started working there and found something for you in there?
Yeah, it was quite a while after that I started working there. What I did is I got involved in the community, and I started working at another treatment center as like a frontline staff in maybe 2010. I was about a year sober, and I liked it. It was a big treatment center, all male treatment center, 52 guys. But it was more like my role there was to like make sure they were following the rules, right? And that's
what I do now.
Yeah, and I didn't like that part of it that much. I liked it when like when I was walking down the halls and somebody grabbed me and be like, "Hey, Damian, I need to talk to you." Yeah. And I ate that up. I loved it. You know, I was like, man, my past is becoming an asset. I don't know if I could make that rational then, but I realized at some point, like, hey man, the dark past that I had is helping people.
Right, people can connect to people that have been through it and feel your energy when they know that it's like real, like that you've actually struggled through those things and came out the other side, and then they look up to you in those ways. I mean, that's how it was when I met you. Like I remember looking up like clear back then in 2012 or whatever when I met you for the first time. It was like you had this momentum and this light about you that was just like something I could relate to on a level when I didn't relate to a lot of people back then. You know, back then I was real lost and real scared of like what my future would look like, and so like seeing somebody in that position to. That's what I do with Daniel this the next time around, you know. It's like, and then coming back, that's what something I wanted to talk to you about. It's like, what is it like for you when you're there for people and you're mentoring people and you're giving them direction and strength, and then you see them go back out like I did with me. You see them go back out and come back even.
Yeah, so it's changed a lot over the years because back then a lot of that stuff was fresh to me, right? Like I remember the first time, like I was living in sober living, and there was a girl in the sober living that she had like 9 months, a year sober, something like that, and she got drunk one night, and they found her in the basement of the sober living, like the cellar type basement, like naked, just drunk, and it hit me because I was like, man, I just saw her yesterday. She was sober, she was doing good, and one of the things that experience and all the experiences of like when you went out, and like a lot of people, more people don't make it than the people that do, right? And but what it did for me especially early on, is it made me want to go harder at it. Like I had this wave of darkness coming, and I just kind of like stood in it like the wind blowing. I was just like, I got to keep doing this, right? Because what happened is I started like caring about people in a way that I'd never cared about people. And so to see like her go out, or you go out, or anybody go out, like it just scared the shit out of me.
It hurts.
It does.
Well, it makes it real too. It's like you realize like it's not so far away from a couple bad decisions, and you could be right back in that place if you're not aware and careful. You know?
Yeah.
And so that's something that it does for me, is like when I see like my close people go back out, I'm like, man, like they were just locked in with me. That means that like if I don't stay on my grind or focused and not get complacent, then I can end up in that position too. So it's like one of those things where I have to dig my roots deep.
Basically one decision away from being back out, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Did you used to go to the Alano Club?
Yeah, I still do.
Yeah, I met you over there. I remember one meeting where you said, my biggest asset is my story because I can tell it in a way now where it helps other people. And I came and talked to you after. When you was talking about asset, your story being your asset, it just clicked. I remember I was sitting behind you. You were sitting at the main table and I was behind you, and you said that, and getting goosebumps right now because I was like, well, I want to be like that. Like I wasn't working at Wasatch. It was in 2023, sometime like before November, because that's when I started working, December 1st. But you said, my biggest asset that I have for me right now is my story, because the way I can use it in a way as a tool to help save other people's lives. And that definitely inspired me to, like, I always wanted to go to work work at Wasatch because that's a place where me and him came through, but just to work there. Same like you, not have any real direction after treatment. But when you said that, I was like, damn, I want my story to be my biggest asset to help other people if they find it, if they choose it, you know?
It's
Yeah, I
awesome.
met you over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that definitely was an inspiration. I just knew your name, and I shared it a bunch of times when I told my story. I met this guy named Damian at a Lana Club, and this is what he said. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy because I think that's how we do it. That's how we stay sober. We get little nuggets here and a little
Yep.
nuggets there, and we grab a hold of certain ones that resonate, right? And
Yeah.
and adapt to whatever it is. Use it as a tool to stay sober. That's what I've done. Like
Yeah.
I guess not one or two or three or four people that helped me stay sober.
Yeah.
It's been an army of people.
Yeah, like you was talking about, the thing that helped you stay good and solid was the community, right? The staff, the community, and I feel like even the people I don't know still are part of my community as long because we're in the same boat, going in the same direction. I share that Rise and Grind that every time I leave a meeting, I feel rich because people drop gold all the time. If you leave poor, that's your fault. Like I'm in here looking for gold nuggets, bro. Like for real, like trying to find inspiration from people like you. And even people that just come in might say something that will hit me and I'm like, oh, I need to clean up on that. Or, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but that's definitely something I've been sharing for like 2 years now.
Yeah.
So I'm glad, like I met you that time, but it's good to meet you again.
Yeah.
Definitely an inspiration you didn't even know about, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah. And so if we get back, so what kind of things in your purpose have changed? Because like I know that we had our conversation at Rise and Grind the other day, and like something that stood out to me was like what your intent is on in your growth and where you're at in your journey, you know?
Yeah, so actually been thinking about this a lot lately, right? Like I at some point after I got sober, I started getting into like law of attraction, manifestations type
We were
stuff.
just talking about
Literally
law
right
of
before you
attraction
walked
before
in.
you knocked, bro. Like we were talking about
We were mid conversation.
Yeah, it was like, you know, one of the things that I've rabbit holed the most in my favorite was law of attraction, and we're talking about that, and you're not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's wild.
All right, go
But anyways, my bad.
Synchronicity.
Yeah, and so I read all the books like Think and Grow Rich, Law of Attraction, like a lot of them. I'm watching videos, and I made vision boards, and I made statements, kind of like your statement, right? But I was always like looking for like the car and the house and the blonde and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I wanted to be happy and peaceful inside, but that wasn't on my vision board.
Yeah.
Like it was the things, and I thought if I had the things, that would fill the other slots that I was kind of not empty in, but not that I didn't have a lot of fuel in it, right? And so lately I've been thinking like, as like, man, if I were to create another vision board, it wouldn't have the things on it. It would have the things like gratitude, like enjoy and stuff like that, right? For having good relationships,
Yeah.
my principles. Because one of the things that I think about a lot is my mom and my dad. Right? They're older, and if evolution plays its course the way that it usually does, like they're gonna go away before I do, and I want. When that day comes, I want to be able to not just say, right? Because it's not about what I'm telling other people. It's about how I feel inside. I want to be able to feel like that I was the best son that I could be in those moments, you know, in their life. And I wasn't for a long time. Yeah.
But it's not how you start, right?
Yeah.
And it's who you are now that matters. Speaking of vision boards and the things you wish like you would want to put on there now, I teach psych ed every Thursdays at one of the homies in the class on his vision board. He had he drew a big heart with a Band-Aid on it. And I just having everybody explain like pieces. They didn't have to do the whole thing, but he said, this one is just, I want to heal. So he had a heart with a Band-Aid on it. And I thought that was dope. Going along with joy and hope, you know, the things that, because all these materialistic things is just like how you said, they have no feel to it. Like you get it and then what? Now you want the next best thing, you know?
Yeah.
Well, and like two things that you said to me in the past too is like that. I can't remember, like I always forget how it goes, but like you could gain the world but lose your soul, and that's like super powerful. That stuck with me super hardcore. And then I told you 3 days in a row after that, I heard that same quote over and over, and I was just like, man, that must be speaking to me. And then the other part that's super powerful about that is like we do want, let's say, like gain material success or gain financial freedom or do like like I want to build business, bro. I want to grow in those ways, but really I don't want those things for those outcomes. I want those things so that, you know, like when in the end, like I feel like a full person, like I did all the things, you know. I feel
Yeah.
like because I did struggle for so many years to where like I didn't have, I never thought I'd be successful, you know. I never thought that like I would be able to get out of financial debt or whatever. Those things are like accomplishments that I do look forward to getting to, but like you said, the real thing I'm trying to find is peace and happiness. You know, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, self-control, faithfulness, and gentleness. You know.
Do you have all these things now?
Yeah, I do, and I'm super grateful that I have those things.
Yeah.
And my balance is really great right now, where it's like I do a lot of things, but I do have a lot of peace in my
Yeah.
life, and I do a lot of like self-care and a lot of like yoga and working out and things that make me feel good. And with all that balance, it's like that's really what it's about. I think is like being grateful for where you're at, but still wanting more, you know?
Yeah. I feel like all those things are outlets and an expression of where you're at now. Like I don't have much things, but everything we're doing now, like this, is just an outlet or an expression of where I'm at right now, you know?
Yeah.
Like, of course, you want to do a business and be successful at it, but being whole before the business starts, I feel like is what, you know, like having joy and happiness. Without those things, I'll be all right.
Right.
But still want to go try it.
Try it out and see
Yeah.
what's up. And I think that that was the other thing is like you said uh, to me the other day, what was it? You said that the you build those things, the internal piece first, and then the all those material things or the business things, the money, the things like that come out of a result of being that person first, you know, instead of doing it the opposite, where people go out and try to get the house or the car first, and then they don't have a soul. But if you can build your soul strong and rooted in faith, I'm in my faith, I think that it will automatically attract those things that I'm looking for. You know?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I was listening to this. He's like a spiritual speaker. He's passed away years ago, but his name's Emmett Fox. I listen to him all the time. I just love the way that he talks about he's a Christian guy, and he can't remember exactly what the name of the organization that he was involved in was. But he's like, if you're not successful in life, like you got a business and you're not making the money that you think you should, or you feel like you should, or your personal relationships aren't going right, is so you need to. He's like, you need to go within yourself and find like where are my resentments at, where are my fears, what's holding me back. Because he's like I guarantee that there's going to be resentments and there's going to be fears and there's going to be things like that and that's what's holding you back, not your drive or your ambition. And so I heard him just like when I'm at the gym, sometimes I listen to that instead of music. You know, I was listening to it yesterday and I was like, because I have a business, right, and I have all this stuff, and I was like, and I've kind of justified a few resentments lately, right? And if that's what's blocking me. But I also think that because I when I started my businesses, and I've had a few different businesses, I got one that's been pretty successful for now. I started up a couple nonprofits, and I don't feel like that was for the intention that I wanted it for. Like I wanted I want to just help people. I think what my higher power, God, wanted is my experiences, the businesses, my recovery, the people I've met, to shape me into who God wants me to be.
Yeah, I love that so much, dude. That's so true.
You was talking earlier that what it is, what is it that you do now?
So I'm a sober companion. I have a small sober companion.
What is that for people that don't know?
So sometimes what it is I do these things called transports where people are either going to treatment and they need somebody to kind of get them there safe so they don't get drunk or high in the process. The parents usually hire me to do it. And then sometimes after an intervention, after they get like they have a intervention done on them, they'll hire somebody like me to go sit with them and get them to where they need to be. And then sometimes what I do is after treatment is I'll go stay with them for a little bit and try to get them acclimated into their environment, into a new environment. Because you know how it is, like when we're first new sober, like I talked about going to the grocery store, everything is brand new, and it's not just like trying to adapt to spiritual tools, right? It's like, how do I shop?
Being around regular people,
yeah. What do I eat?
Yeah.
I've done jobs where I've had people call me where I've been sleeping at their house, and they call me at like 3:00 in the morning because they wake up with anxiety and fear. And I don't, because when I first got sober, it's not like like all that went away. If anything, it got worse. So having somebody that's like in the room next to you that you can kind of talk about stuff like that with, and it's not like being their sponsor. It's like doing stuff like that. It's like encouraging them to get a sponsor, encouraging them to do some of the work in that way. Because you like training wheels,
Yeah.
you know.
So basically just giving somebody something you never had.
Yeah.
Guardrails to help them get to where they need to be.
Yeah.
That's awesome, bro. Like I knew that you did that, but like I didn't really know like the details of it like that. That's really powerful. I bet it helps a ton of people. So when you talked about fear, I was thinking of this earlier, but what kind of things do you think that you still fear, and what kind of things have you done to get yourself through fear?
I still fear. So I have thought a lot about this too. So I think something happened when I was a kid. I'm not sure what it was, but at one point I woke up and I started thinking that people were thinking about me, right? Like I start basing my reality based on what people thought about me. Like do I got the right clothes on? Is my hat on straight? Do I smell good? Did I brush my teeth? Like, and I grew up kind of poor, you know. Mom and dad took care of us, right? They loved us. They provided for us, but sometimes we got hand-me-down clothes, and we had food stamps, and the lunches at school that we got
The card, right?
Yeah, the card, right? Yeah, they didn't pay for so government type funding type stuff, and I was so embarrassed of it, right? Like I wouldn't even use my card. I'd go hustle money in the bathroom.
Pay cash instead of get the free lunch.
Yeah. Or I want to eat, you know?
Yeah.
And so that started dominating everything about me, right? And I didn't realize it, but I was putting on all these different masks for whoever was sitting next to me, right?
Yeah.
And so I learned how to talk in Mexican accents. I learned like I adapt to whoever's sitting next to me, and it's all based out of fear, right? I care too much about what people think about me. And it's not like that just went away when I got sober.
No.
Right? It's been a lot of work of removing, first recognizing what the mask is, that I'm wearing a mask, and then trying to remove it, because it's not just always like, oh, I got this mask, let's get rid of it.
Oh,
yeah, it's all like sometimes it's always there.
Well, it's hard to do, and that's the way you've been living, and the only way you knew how to live for a long time, because you believe you needed this mask. Like any situation, basically the same thing. Like whenever I was in a situation with you guys, this is the mask I wore. Then get up, whose house I'm going to next? Okay, I need this mask, you know? But come time to take it off and got clean, is like, well, how do I do that? This is the only way I know how to live. You know, so taking it off is work, but you've done it, you know?
Yeah, I've done it in a lot of ways, right? Like, I feel like when I'm the most authentic me is when I'm at my mom and dad's house. I'm hanging out with my nieces and I'm joking around with my dad, or I'm getting into deep conversations with them, right? Or I'm playing with my dog. Right? When it's just me and my dog, I'm like a little kid.
What kind of dog?
He's a bully.
What's his name?
His name's Maximus.
Oh, that's a powerful name.
Yeah, I named him after the gladiator. Yeah. And but like yesterday, I was over there and he jumped up, and my mom don't like him on the couch, but he like rebelled against her, and then he like fell over on me and like started licking my face, and like he kind of gave me a dog hug, right? Yeah. And I just ate it up, right? But if the homies were there, you know,
yo, get away from me. Don't be licking on me. We don't do that. Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like that's where I feel the most authentic, right? Because that's where I've been being real most of my life. And but I'm growing, right? Cause I'm 16 years into it, and like and I'm continue to recognize new stuff. I'm shedding skin, trying to become the best version of me that I can be, the most authentic version of me that I can be, and it's a process.
And there's always sorry. Go ahead. There's always things that you can find to shed, always different masks you can find to get rid of, right? And it's the progress, the journey that matters the most. I remember I listened to Miranda's story, one of my homies.
Oh, Miranda.
Yeah, I got to listen to her tell her story, and she said, recovery is the toughest journey we can take, but it has the most beautiful views. And I feel like it's always a progress, and you get up to these points where it's like I took off a mask and I got to peek out, and the view is dope. But then there's always a different spot to get up to, you know? And I love that. Like, there's always things that we can work on to get better and be our true, authentic self. There's always different ways to clean up, you know? I love that.
Like, something that keeps on, like, I want to talk about with you is, like, that process of, like, day one to day now, you know? Like what... Like, I'm sure there was so many times over and over again where it felt like, oh, I got it. And then it went back down to like, oh man, I've got to work through these things. And it was a continuous, like, But what kind of things have stayed consistent, and what kind of things have you had to shift your mindset on?
What stayed consistent is like I believe I've stayed in prayer like the whole time, right? Like even when I've been mad, right? Like I remember earlier on in the first year or two, right? There was always crises. It seemed like that was happening. Now it's probably stuff that would have seemed like it was this big, you know. But back then it was like the world's falling
early
down.
recovery.
Yeah. And I remember looking up at the sky, walking behind my mom and dad's house one day, looking up in the sky, yelling up, "F you," you know. Come down here, let's fight, you know. And then like moments later, being just kidding, you know. I don't want that, you know. But I've always stayed in prayer every day. Like one of the first things that I do is I roll out of bed. I don't hit my feet first thing. I roll out of bed and I get on my knees, and I say a prayer, and then throughout the day, I've become a lot better at it too as I'm living through the day, as acknowledging, and when things come up, if I get angry or stuck in traffic and somebody's pissing me off, throw it up to God, you know. And then also talking to people, right? I had a guy that was my mentor, right? And he showed up for me in ways that I didn't know people showed up for people. Yeah.
Without needing something in return, right?
Yeah, nothing. He invited me to his home, brought me into his family. I started trusting him in a way that I never trusted anybody. And he kept proving that he would keep that trust sacred. And so I would call him a lot, often. Sometimes he'd hang out with me at Denny's till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning because this was going like this, and I couldn't shut it up. And my knee jerk reaction to life a lot of times was anger and violence. And so when I got sober, I knew that I couldn't really live that way anymore, but I still wanted to so bad, you know. And he would get on the phone with me or go meet up with me and try to talk me down. And they went a long time. I went almost my whole sobriety without getting in a fight. Eventually I got in one. But another thing that I learned, right, is like even though I knew that I couldn't be the fighter that I was, like part of me still would have that dialogue in my head, like somebody would piss me off, and I'd be like, "Man, you don't know who I used to be. You don't know what I could do to you, you know." After I got in that fight, it was like 5 years ago. I got in a fight, and like probably 2 or 3 months, I fantasized about fighting this dude. Right? I'm like, oh, I just beat him up, you know, teach him a lesson, you know. I'll show him. And then after I got in the fight, like moments after, I felt this big. And I felt like this low. And I was like, I realized that the fight didn't start that night. The fight started in my head. And I need one of the coolest things that I think I've realized since I've been sober is like, I got to stop that as a thought. And so I don't entertain that thought anymore. Like, I'm a tough guy. I used to be a tough guy. I used to be a gangster, right? I used to be whatever, you know, and I don't want to be that person. Absolutely 100% don't want to be that person. The entertaining the thought thing was like this ego in me still wanted to be that person in certain ways.
Yeah. And it's hard to change that mindset. Like, especially if that's your whole life and that's the truth that to you, that's who you really are. Like, that's one of the hardest things to do is change. Just, I'm not a gangster anymore. I'm not a thug. I don't need to fight. It's hard to do. But sitting here, you're proof that it can be done. You know, like things will still pop up. It still pops up for me. And this guy told me, if you can manage the next thought, you can manage your life. You know, going along with what you said, that if you can stop it in a thought, as a thought, the reaction, you know, like thoughts are just thoughts. That the part that make them dangerous or good is the action that follows it. So if anything comes up like that and you can kill it, then that's the real power move, you know? Yeah, I like that you said that.
Like some of it's always said, and that, but like hit me hard the other day was like that, like you can't even stop your thoughts really. Like your thoughts will pop up regardless, or people, you can shift them and change them, but like your mind's on that constant, it's just like chatter. And then you can't change like outside people or what they're doing or how they're reacting or whatever, but what you truly can change is like the way you react to the situation. And you hear that all the time, but then when you really think about it, it's like if you just take a pause and then you choose like, do I want to be this guy or do I want to be this guy? Do I want to follow my God? Do I want to follow, you know, what is it that actually this next steps that I'm going to take? And then the more that you do that one at a time, it kind of lines up with what you were talking about, how each one of those decisions are like little micro decisions to either move towards your goal or to away from it, you know? And then some things like a fight or situation where you can end up in jail, or a situation where shit gets real bad, like stuff gets real bad, you can definitely take your life more than just a step in the wrong direction, but completely go down a path that you're not trying to be down again. And I think that's like one of the biggest things about recovery for me that I've learned through like in and out of treatment and in and out of like struggling and getting better, struggling, getting better, is that like when I got out, I was never like intentionally like there was times, but like most of the time it was like I wasn't trying to go do drugs. I was trying to go hang out with this girl, or I was trying to go be around my friends because I missed them, or I wanted to go hang out because I was bored and that they were all together. So like I always ended up lying to myself and getting myself in a situation that slipped into addiction,
Yeah.
And so it wasn't like I was like, that's where a lot of people, like when they talk about like going back to their old lives and things like that, like they're not able to see the fact that it's not so much that you're going to go and use drugs that night, but you're just going to put yourself in a situation that's a slow slide back into where you were before. And that was something that I was grateful that I learned through getting in and out of addiction over and over. Because I really did learn that like there's not a chance for me if I use drugs, you know what I mean? And so if I keep going down in those situations, I'm going to end up back on drugs. And if I'm on drugs, I'm not going to be able to live my life. So I'm just grateful for those. Those are wisdoms that like come from getting older and also through like the struggle and back and forth of things. And that's something that like I really wanted to pick your brain about, is like the wisdom of where you're at now, because I think that that's huge, bro. I think that like what you're doing is amazing. I think that like the impact that you have on not just me or your immediate surroundings, but the community as a whole. Like you do so much for the recovery community and for people in general. And I think that like that's something that I aspire to do too. You know what I mean? And that's why I think that I wanted you as my sponsor and to follow your footsteps in those ways, is like I see your heart in it is more. So I see your grind and I see your passion for the things that you have, but I see your heart in it and where it's coming from. And those things are what really draw me to where you're at, I'm super grateful for you, bro, for real.
Yeah, I'm grateful for you too. Yeah, I remember when I first met you, right? Like there was something about you, like back then, right? Like that's what's kind of something that happens to me. I don't think it's something that I really think about. It's more intuitive, right? Like I see people and I feel their energy, and I get it in my head. Like I really want to help this person. This person's it's like that namaste, right? The God in me sees the God in you,
Yeah.
right? And I feel like that's what I see. Like when I met you, the God in me sees the God in you. I didn't know that's what it was, right? I couldn't have put words to it, but it was like, I want to help this guy. And then you went off, and did your thing, but you needed to go through everything you needed to go through to get to where you're at now, right? And then you have this real unique experience now where you can help people in ways that I can't or you can't. You got the same thing, right?
Yeah.
And then I got the same thing, and I really feel like as a community and as a whole, that's how we tackle this problem.
Yeah, you're definitely an inspiration to me. Like going off what Mason's saying, like what you do for the community. This is what I think is dope about you, right? Like the stuff that you do throughout, like whatever it is you do in your community, the way you carry yourself, the powerful thing for me is that just the way you walk, just the way you talk, the way you carry yourself, the things you say inspires a lot more people than you realize. Like what I was talking about before, you're just sharing at a meeting, and it inspired me to want to be the same. Like I love that. Like I feel like if everybody can do that without seeking recognition, without trying to be, this is me, like walk in a room and be like, hey, Daniel's here, like just live the authentic you and be able to inspire without doing anything special except relating your story or relating your experiences. And I appreciate you for that much too. Like you're definitely somebody. I never knew you was the same guy, but I talked about you a bunch of times when I told my story, for real.
So what like legacy minded or like for the next generation or for your future, what are you thinking? What's the next steps for you?
I kind of got hit with like a place where I don't know, and I haven't been in this place in a long time because I've always been like pretty ambitious and driven and trying to do what's next. And I'm at a place now where I'm kind of like done a lot of work in the last couple of years, and I think a lot of it is just being okay with who I am. And I think I was using some of the things that I was trying to create to validate me, because I got this business going, or I'm okay because I did this, right? And I've hit this place where I'm pretty okay right now. And so the next thing isn't coming to mind. I think it will come to mind.
Yeah, God will. But I think that like you're on to what it is for you. If like right now is like your internal journey, and like and I'm sure that it changes back and forth a lot. But if that's like where you're at, like that's the best. They say that's the best place, is to be content with your life where you're at and be proud of what you have and grow in those. That's what I'm working on right now too. Is like obviously I have other ambitions and things that I'm focused but my real focus is like being at peace with being okay with where I'm at. You know, like I don't need anything. Like, what's your quote? Don't need your
Huh?
The one you wrote the other day? Like the things.
I know I'm getting better because the things I needed to get here are now the things I want to keep going. Like all the things I needed to get me to this spot, I don't need them no more, but I want to keep them in my life to keep me going.
Yeah.
That's where I was.
There's wants, but the necessities are taken care of.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's how I am. I got wants and some desires, but my life's full in a lot of ways. But to some of your comments about like how about yeah. I've done work in the community where it has been ego driven, right?
Yeah.
Like and I've done shared spoken where it's been ego driven, and when I do work in the community when it's ego driven, and when I talk and it's ego driven, it seems like it just doesn't come out right. Like the work doesn't come out right, or whatever I'm saying doesn't come out right. And Tupac said something one time in one of his songs. He goes, "When I write rhymes, I go blind and let God do his thing." And when I speak, sometimes I don't feel like it's me, right? Like just a conduit to God to put the whatever messages out there. And usually when I have those type of shares is when I really have the desire to really want to help somebody. And it seems like some of my more powerful speeches have come out after somebody has died that I've cared about. Right? It hits me, and I have all these emotions coming out, and then I see all these people like that could very likely happen to. Like we live in a world where we live in a world because we're in recovery, right? Where people are falling pretty alarming numbers, and I see that as in the people, and I just want to scream sometimes, like, "Hey, there's a solution," and like grab my hand, grab your hand, we can help. Like it's weird because people will come up to me afterwards and be like, "Man, I really liked what you had to say," and I'm like, "That's I have no idea what I said."
You guys were running back.
I feel the same way too, though. Like getting up there, start off, and then mine goes blank, and then after the meeting, people be like, thank you," and I was like, what did I say? Like, like I remember bits and pieces, and when they tell me what I said, I'm like, okay, I remember that, but
I think that's like doing God's work, like tapping into the source and letting it speak through you. And I think that's really what the real goal is like releasing everything that makes you think you have to control it or think about it or do any of that. And then just really tapping in with whatever the energy source is and letting it just do its thing.
Yeah.
Because that's really what we're here for. When I pray at night, I pray for those things too. Like I pray to be that tool in God's hand, or to let me say the right thing at the right time to the right person, because I know that it's not me, I know that it's like I just am being, like my thing, like I'm being guided by God's wisdom, every step I take is divinely led, because as long as I can stay in that state of mind, then things happen in like amazing ways. And then the more I try to like prepare or think or overdo it, it starts getting like shifty.
But going back to the ego driven part, right? Like I feel like the most important thing about that is the awareness around it, and knowing that that's something that you don't need to do. Like just get up your authentic self, and then all of a sudden you just speak something that is, like you're just a tool in God's hand.
Yeah, exactly. That I kind of made a reputation for myself in the community because I was so loud and vocal about a lot of the things that I was doing, and I was doing a lot. And that's something that's changed a lot for me over the last handful of years. Is I don't want to be seen anymore, right? Like I care more about, like I wanted it to be like, hey, Damian's doing this, hey, Damian's doing that, and now it's more like whatever the message is, I want that to be heard, like, and it doesn't have to include me, right? Like it, and so I've kind of fallen into the shadows a little bit, and I found peace in the shadows.
That's cool.
Yeah,
but it also like being like that makes it even more powerful that people are going to recognize you more. Like without trying to be the face or the name, I feel like people are going to express your name even more harder, because it's like, no, like that's Damian. Even though you want to be in the background, like instead of yelling your own, one of my homies used to always tell everybody who he was. And I was like, bro, you know what the real power move is to me? Is when people talk about me without me even being there. You know what I mean? Like then, and it started working out like that. Like the more you try not to be around, because like I like sharing, I like talking, but I don't really like the recognition. Like when people shout me out, it's like, it's cool. Like you don't have to say my name. I'm all right. Like as long as it helped you in a certain way, like you can leave my name out. I'm cool. But people talk more about, like, and I feel like you doing that is a great way for you to check your ego. But like it or not, people are going to recognize you, for sure.
Super powerful, for real.
Yeah.
I love that, bro, and that's something that, like, I wrestle with for sure. I think about that with Gabe too. Like, Gabe always talks about how, like he's just content with where his life is, and that's
Yeah.
something that I wanna feel inside, you know? That's something that I am working towards.
I used to think, man, I want to be like Jesus, or like
Yeah.
one of these martyrs that kind of really died for their cause or bled for their cause, or
Yeah.
but like they went through a lot of suffering
Yeah.
to get to where they're at. And like my sobriety, my recovery hasn't been all perfect, right? There's been a lot of suffering in that, and I'm grateful for it all
Yeah.
now, right? I'm 100% grateful because it's grown me into the man that I'm becoming and that I am.
Yeah.
And you take away little things like that, like when my little brother died in 2020, like I wish I could have my brother back, I
Yeah.
love my little brother, but man, I gained so much from that experience, right? I learned how to be a better son to my mom and dad. I learned how to be a better brother to my sisters. I learned to show up in ways that I didn't know I was capable of showing up. And unfortunately, that's part of life, and it's just like a lot of little things like that have happened since I've been sober. And some of it's been the cause of me. My little brother, because he died of suicide, right? So I have some regrets and some shame because I mistreated him when I was younger and when he was younger. But so I don't really feel like his death was a cause of me, but in a part it was, And what I learned from that is like, hey, you don't mistreat people. Like
Yeah.
me, talking about me, I don't mistreat people. And I try to give everybody the exact same kind of respect and
Yeah.
love, like the God in me sees the God in you, because it's in all of us,
Yeah. And everybody can go through those experiences and not get the same thing. Like if I went through everything that you've been through, who knows if I would have been open to learning I should treat people better. I should be nicer. I should be a better son. I should be a better brother. I feel like the test that you've been through was your test in order to get you to be the man you are. And there's nobody else like you around because you are who you are. You're Damian, and I feel like the tests I've faced and the tests Mason's faced are all our tests that we're capable of overcoming if we seek out to find the answer or find the help. Ask the people, the right people. I feel like all these things, even though they were in place for us to get to be here, there's still that choice where we could have easily went the other way.
Yeah.
So it's dope to hear that, like we've all been put through some things in order to get us to this spot, Yeah.
Yeah, and then the coolest part about that is like we all have built ourselves in this way, and then we can come together and build something bigger for the community by being just connected and going interconnected and like going through those things to build up who we are personally, but also as like a
Yeah.
family and community and friends,
Yeah.
I'm super grateful that I have you guys in my life. Like it's a game changer for me,
Yeah. Grateful too.
Yeah. I'm grateful that we got to sit down and talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An honor. Yeah. Yeah. I've been watching you guys like as the new episodes come out, and I don't really watch a lot of podcasts, right?
Really?
And I don't, and I have a hard time. Like I still have a hard time. I have ADD. I've had ADD since I was a kid, and so I kind of tune out and check out a lot of times as I'm listening to whatever I'm listening to. But when I've listened to you guys, like I listen to every moment of it, right? And that's why it's like, oh, I've got one whatever I can do to help. I want to be a part, and it's because of the message that's going out there. I feel it. I feel the energy, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like you guys can really help out a lot of people just because the dialogue helps out so much. Because I've been on podcasts before, and it's usually like, hey, tell me your recovery journey, right? And I start at the beginning and I end, and there's not this going on, right? And like Jesus said, like, or I don't know if it was Jesus in the Bible, when two or more gather in the name of God, the Holy Spirit's there, right? And in AA it says one alcoholic works with another alcoholic, that's when recovery starts to happen, right? And it's not me talking, right? It's
a conversation.
Yeah, it's a conversation,
right?
Yeah.
We talked about it before, and we said that this is basically me and Mason having a conversation, and everybody else is just eavesdropping on whatever goes on here. One of my friends, Tal Sylvester, said, because you're not a therapist, you can't therapize anybody. But once you start talking, therapy will happen. And I feel like this is definitely therapeutic, at least for me, like being able to get out some things, like take some things off my shoulders, but also gain knowledge. Like we said earlier, gold nuggets for sure. And taking those things, putting them in my life and running with it, Yeah.
I've learned so much from just doing this too. Like it's like every single week I grow so much from like these things. And then also like after the podcast, like I said, I went through that struggle, and then I had to look back on my podcast from the week before and think, okay, like self-worth, self-love, like how am I gonna and I had to rebuild it, but at least I was like remembered that. And I'm like, dang, like
And everything we talk about
over time,
Yeah.
everything we talk about on here, Mason puts it all together. I just show up and then we talk about whatever he wants to talk about. And everything that he's picked from week 1, episode 1 till now has definitely been some things that I need more work on and other things I need to sharpen up on. So thank you for putting all this stuff together.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
And thank you, bro. Like I seriously, like I'm so grateful to be able to pick your brain at any time. But this is like something for the community too, so they get a little bit of insight from where you're at, because your journey's been unbelievable, bro. Like,
Yeah.
it's one of those things that's like a giant for sure.
We're trying to figure out who to have on first. My mind went blank because there's so many people I wanted to talk to, and Mason was like, "We need to talk to Damian Trujillo," and I was like, "I'm down." We talked about confidence, and Mason was like, "You want to talk to him before we start?" And I was like, "I want to get to know him with everybody else. Let's get it on and talk, you know." And I appreciate you. You have no idea how that one line affected me so much, and I appreciate you for that.
I feel like like what you were saying too, where two or more gathered, like there's like an energy that is undeniable when we're in sync and flow together. It's like that energy is real.
It is, but I think what you're talking about is what makes it real. Right? Like, because we can talk about some stuff that, like, what's on the news and what, like, and the energy's not there, right?
Yeah.
You guys are talking about how to live better lives and how to be better people and how to live and not die, and that's what like I eat it up.
And our experiences, like that helped us get to where we are. You know, like your experience of just first going to the grocery store, and now you're being in a place where you can help guide people through it. It's so powerful to be able to share experience, giving people strength and allowing them to have some hope just by talking about things we've been through, which is crazy. Because before, the things I used to talk about, but they mean something now. They have substance and they have purpose. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I wish I could be a fly on the wall back when I was in prison or jail. Listen to some of the conversations like me and my cellies would have, because they were nothing close to this, right? I had no idea what they were about because it was so long ago, but I imagine it was just so superficial, right?
Yeah.
So many lies being told too.
Yeah, to good friends. Yup. Yeah, right.
All right, guys. Well, getting sober is a victory, but building a life to last year after year is a real miracle. Damian and Daniel's stories have proved it's possible when you root your life in daily discipline, strong community, and purpose bigger than yourself. Whether you're 16 days in or 16 years in, just remember that habits you practice today are the foundation for your tomorrow. Keep planning, keep watering, and keep showing up, because recovery isn't just about not using, it's about creating a life that lasts. And healing isn't just personal, it's a movement.
It's a movement.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Love
you,
you, brother.
Love you too.